Knowing how to negotiate can literally mean the difference between making a couple $1,000s and millions of dollars. So in this video, I'm gonna give you step-by-step breakdown on exactly how you need to negotiate from start to finish. This is the only negotiation video that you absolutely need to watch. So let's go ahead and get started. Now, recently, I've been doing a lot of sales and marketings for clients. The way I've actually been charging is by asking for a percentage of revenue. Meaning, if a company does multiple 7 figures in revenue, I'm literally asking for a percentage of all of that revenue. Not profit, but revenue. In my particular situation these days, I need to negotiate higher percentages of revenue because the revenue is in the multiple 7 figures. So obviously, I want the biggest cut possible while delivering my marketing and sales services. So literally 1% of multiple 7 figures can mean a lot for you guys watching this right now. So I'm gonna give you my process when I negotiated these deals and walk you through step by step on exactly how you can do the same. Whether you're negotiating for a percentage of revenue, maybe you're negotiating a commission, maybe you're negotiating a fixed price. It doesn't really matter because the fundamentals of negotiations are gonna be the exact same thing. Now, the first step of negotiations, in my personal opinion, is how you actually approach the negotiation. See, most people actually feel like they're fighting against somebody, thinking that it's us versus them, right? But in reality, what you want to do is you want to come in with a win-win mentality. So when I negotiate with somebody, it's not like I'm trying to shark them. It's not like I'm trying to take everything on the table. I'm trying to get a good deal. I'm trying to make them feel like they got a good deal. And by the end of the deal, we're going to shake hands. We're going to both be happy. Now, you might be asking, well, how is that possible? How can both sides be happy? Doesn't someone have to lose? Not necessarily, right? Because for my particular deals, typically going to be long-term partnerships. So I'm not trying to snake anyone. I'm not trying to take their money and disappear. I'm trying to work with them over multiple years if possible, right? So that's the first thing, having the approach that it's a win-win situation and you want both sides to walk away happy. And here's exactly how you can do this. The first step is you have to know how much someone is willing to pay for your products and services. So for me, for example, if it's a percentage of revenue, I'm just going to give an arbitrary percentage. Let's say that I'm looking for 20% of revenue. My minimum I'm willing to accept is 15, right? These are arbitrary numbers. Now, they don't know that I'm willing to accept 15. So I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna come in with 20, right? So I'm purposely going higher than what I originally am willing to accept. Now, the thing about negotiations, if you have to understand, both sides are not telling each other the full truth. Now, I used to feel like people were deceiving each other, but then I just realized that's just how business goes. Nobody's gonna tell you exactly the price they're willing to take. You have to negotiate and find something that kind of meets in the middle, right? What you want to do is you want to go a little higher than what you actually want. So if you want 15%, ask for 20%, ask for 22%, but just know whichever percent or whatever price that you come in with, you have to have some ammunition and explanation to why that actually makes sense. Because if it doesn't make sense to the other person, they're going to think of it as disrespectfully high. Maybe they're not going to want to work with you because they feel like you're trying to take advantage of them. And how you actually find that number is you go around the industry, you ask your friends, you ask different colleagues to see what other people are willing to pay, and you can kind of find a range of what you're able to get away with, right? And so you always want to play on the higher side because you have to understand people will typically negotiate you down. Sometimes they don't negotiate you down and they think it's a fair deal and boom, maybe you're going to get that 20%. But usually they're going to be like, 20 is a little too high. How about we meet in the middle? How about we do 18? And then we have this whole negotiation, right? Whether you're going for a percentage, whether you're going for a fixed fee, understand you got to anchor high and just expect them to lower your price. And you might be wondering, is there a rule of thumb? Is there a percentage? Not necessarily, because it really depends on your ability to storytell. It really depends on what's common in the industry, right? So like if you're charging, let's say $10,000 per year for software, could you go $20,000? Yeah, well, it depends on how much information the other person has. If they know that other guy's getting it for 10K, then they're gonna want 10K too. But if they have no idea, then maybe they'll accept 20, right? So you can go up by 100%, you can go up by 50%, you can go up by 70%. It really just depends on what information you believe the other person has. Now, so the next step of the process is this. Once you actually give your price, right? So let's say I'm gonna charge 20%, but I'm willing to accept 15 and I'm willing to accept anything between 15 and 20. What's gonna happen next is this. The other side is gonna say my price is too high and they're gonna try and negotiate me down. And what I want to do is I want to make them feel that every time they negotiate a percentage down, they have to give me something back, right? If let's say they want to negotiate from 20% to 17%, I'm gonna be like, well, that's a little steep for me. That's a really a big discount. Now, If we were to do that, is it possible that I de-risk myself a little bit and maybe take an upfront fixed fee? This is the beauty of anchoring high. When you anchor high, what ends up happening is the person wants to lower your price, but you can't lower a price just for free. The person's not going to say, oh, I want 17 because I want 17. Usually they have to give some kind of reason, and usually that reason is not going to be very good. So to make it easier for them to lubricate that deal, right, you want them to give you something, whether it's going to be better terms for the deal for you. Maybe you're going to make more on the long-term back end. Maybe you're going to get an upfront fixed fee to de-risk yourself to pay for your labor. Or maybe you can say something like, hey, you want this deal to go on for 3 years instead of 2, but then you'd lower the percentage for them in order to do that, right? So you always want to ask for something every time somebody lowers your price. Don't let them ask for these things for free, ask for something. Now, the whole key to making this work is actually quite brilliant. The key is to make it feel that every time they lower your price, you're going to feel some kind of pain. Because when they see you experiencing pain, they're going to be like, ah, damn, this is really hurting them, right? Because they don't know what your situation is. They don't know if you have employees that you have to pay. They don't know that 1% that they're taking off is someone's salary, right? They have no idea. But if you make them feel this way, and in sales is a very emotional game, then they're going to negotiate a lot less harder than they would have if they believe that this is nothing to you, right? If you're negotiating against somebody and you feel like this person has just so much money and that whatever you're negotiating with is just like pennies to them, well, you're not going to feel bad if you negotiate really hard because you think it's just like 0.1% of their net worth anyways, right? But if you really felt that, damn, this is really going to make a big impact on this person's life, then you're going to be a lot more hesitant to negotiate harder. Now, what is the actual truth? Nobody really knows, right? Because that's why everyone keeps their cards close to their chest. It's almost like a game of poker. Now, the thing is, some people might be watching this and you might be thinking, oh, isn't that deceitful? Well, literally, if you're going to go let's say, rent an apartment or something like that, the real estate agents are doing it to you. The landlords are doing it to you. Is it fair they're doing it to you? Not necessarily, but they will do it anyways. And they're not going to tell you the truth, and they're not going to tell you anything. Actually, they're just going to give you a high price and hopefully you say yes. So that's the way the world works. So you got to learn how to play the games if you want to be able to break them. Okay, so what happen next is that you lower your price, and then you finally meet somewhere in the middle, typically where both sides are happy, right? The key here is that because you anchored them high, you're happy because you're in that range of what you're willing to accept anyways. They're happy because they feel like they got a good deal by negotiating your price down. So when this person goes to their friend, goes to their spouse, goes to their business partners, and they say, dang, I negotiated Patrick's price from 20% all the way to 16%, 4% off. What a great deal. But little did they know, I was actually willing to accept 15. But because of that dynamic of starting from 20 and then making it very painful to go to 19, then 18, then 17, then 16, and finally making them feel like they got a really good deal. That's pretty much how it goes. So the other person is going to walk away really happy. I'm going to walk away really happy, and everybody wins, right? So at the end of the day, when it comes to negotiations, what's actually really important is how people feel, right? So let's say if I want to charge someone 20%, I was hard stuck. I'm going to charge this guy 20%. If I can make this person feel like I'm not going down and I'm the only option they have, and they're probably going to take it. But if I value the relationship and I want them to be happy long term and I want them to work with me, I'm willing to not do 20. I'm willing to put my price down in order to have a better long-term relationship, right? So just because you have the sales ability and persuasion ability to get a certain price that's very beneficial for you, it doesn't mean you should always do it, because you got to look at how the relationship will play out in the long run, right? And sometimes, they might figure out like, damn, that guy really sharked me, and they won't want to work with you again. And maybe they'll tell their peers, don't work with Patrick because he's going to shark you, right? So you have to always keep in mind of what information people will get in the future, who will they tell, and how that will affect you in the future as well. But if you have a clean reputation where everyone loves working with you, and yeah, you negotiate, but everyone settles, everyone's happy when they walk away, that is the key. So in the event where one or more people are not happy with the deal, this means a deal cannot be done. So there's some kind of blocker or challenge that prevents both sides from walking away happy. The first thing you have to understand is this: it's okay to walk away from a deal. So you got to have that abundance mentality where if this deal goes away, you'll find another, right? If this business partner goes away, you'll find another. The moment you accept something that you don't feel is right for you, that's when you're at a disadvantage. Now, there are situations, maybe there's literally no other option. That's what you have to do. And I totally understand that. But in most particular situations, especially if you're doing B2B sales, there's plenty of more customers to go around. So there's no need to take a very low deal. Just walk away. And when you walk away, that gives you more power, and then also gives you more negotiation power that when the other person knows you're willing to walk away. One really important thing that I thought of right now is that sometimes a deal takes a very long time. Maybe it'll take you weeks, maybe it'll take you months or multiple months, right? And even if that's the case, it doesn't mean you should take the deal just because everyone spent so much time on it. If it's not good for you, just walk away. And so that's exactly how I negotiate my deals. Hopefully you got some value out of it. If you did enjoy this video, make sure to check out my masterclass, saleslegacy.com, where we teach you everything you need to know about persuasion, pitching, negotiation, and sales. With that said, my name is Patrick Deng, and I'll see you guys in the next one.